Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. And today, the San Francisco 49ers have released Matt Breida, who played for the New York Giants the past 2 seasons, but also spent some time with the San Francisco 49ers from 2017 through 2019. And with the 49ers in 3 seasons, played in 43 games with 18 starts, had 381 rush attempts with almost 2,000 rushing yards, 6 rushing touchdowns. Also was pretty solid on the receiving end, 561 receiving yards with 4 touchdowns in 3 seasons. As kind of a backup and starter, he did both for San Francisco in those 3 seasons, starting off his career in San Francisco. Now he's had a solid career. His career has had almost 3,000 rushing yards. Only 10 rushing touchdowns, so that's not good, obviously. But returned to San Francisco, but before training camp, made his return to San Francisco after 4 or 5 years, and he was solid in the preseason. He was kind of terrible in on the rushing side of things. 15 carries with 29 rushing yards. Now, if you look outside of the first game he had 6 carries for 0 rushing yards, and then the other games, the other 2 preseason games, then it turned into 9 carries for 29 rushing yards. So in the last 2 preseason games on the rushing end, he was better, getting 9 carries for 29 rushing yards, which is pretty good. But then the start of it in their first preseason game against the Tennessee Titans, it was terrible. 6 carries for 0 rushing yards. It was absolutely terrible. But on the receiving end, he was pretty solid in the preseason. He had 3 receptions for 30 receiving yards, so that's pretty good in the preseason. So he didn't do, he wasn't fully bad. It's just a little bit of a rough start in the preseason for him, starting off with only 5 receiving yards and 6 carries for 0 rushing yards. But then he finishes the preseason off with 2 receptions for 25 receiving yards and 9 carries for 29 rushing yards. So those final 2 games, Matt was better and looked better, but I don't think it was enough for him to make the roster. This is a very talented running back room. Of course, you have Christian McCaffrey, but there are other guys to mention. Jordan Mason, Elijah Mitchell is someone I really like. Patrick Taylor Jr. is a guy who's pretty solid. Of course, you have Kyle Juszczyk. He's not a running back, but he is a fullback. And when a team does make out their 53-man roster, they usually put running backs and fullbacks as the same category. So, I think the 49ers would think as, Kyle Juszczyk as a running back. So I don't think there was a lot of a good chance for, Breida to make the roster for San Francisco. I think there's more of a chance if he starts off on a better note in the preseason. I think that really hurt him with the 6 carries for 0 rushing yards. Like I mentioned, he did get better in the last 2 games, able to finish off the last 2 games with 9 carries for 29 rushing yards and 2 receptions for 25 receiving yards. That's definitely a nice way to finish off. I think if he played that way in the first game, like we saw in the last 2 games, I don't think he probably still doesn't make the roster, but I think they would have considered it more, potentially. But let me know your thoughts on the roster move for the 49ers in the comment section, and peace out.